안녕하세요. 여기는 비자 에르모사고요. 비자 에르모사에서 가장 큰 시장인 호세 마리아 피노 수아레스라는 곳에 왔습니다. 저는 지금 2층에 올라와 있는데 이쪽은 다 식당이고요. 아래쪽에서는 여러 가지 식료품들을 팔고 있습니다. Una de este y coca por favor. Gracias. 제가 시킨 거는 오징어 튀김이랑 밥이 있는 음식이고요. 맛있게 생겼습니다. 그리고 오징어에는 마요네즈가 빠질 수 없죠. 맛있다. 우리나라에서도 오징어를 마요네즈에다가 찍어 먹잖아요. 이것도 마요네즈에다 찍어 먹으니까 진짜 맛있어요. ¿Cómo se llama este?
Pigua.
Pigua. Ah, hay muchos mariscos en Villa Hermosa. Tú vienes aquí de Oaxaca, no hay muchos mariscos, pero aquí todos.
Aquí se da mucho.
Ah, sí, interesante.
Y esta se da solamente aquí en todo el mundo.
¿Solamente aquí?
Solamente aquí. Hay parecidas, pero
Camarón.
sí, pero no son el mismo sabor.
Muchas gracias. 확실히 오아하카랑 다르게 여기 타바스코주에 있는 비자 에르모사에서는 해산물이 진짜 많은 것 같아요. 다른 도시에서 구경할 수 없는 해산물을 또 구경할 수 있어가지고 재미가 있습니다. 되게 엄청난 줄이 있는데. 뭐야? 추레리아라고 되어 있는 거 보니까 추로스 파는 데 같거든요. 엄청 유명한 데 같아요. 그래서 저도 추로스를 한번 먹어보겠습니다. 근데 제가 지금 유카탄 쪽으로 가고 있는데 타바스코주부터 시작해서 진짜 너무 덥습니다. 땀이 진짜 줄줄 새고 진짜 온몸에서 땀이 나는 것 같아요. Gracias. 하나에 5페소입니다. 여기 하나. 완전 바삭하고 이 안쪽이 비어있는데 엄청 느끼하진 않고 달짝지근하고 진짜 맛있네요. 여러분들 혹시 초콜릿 좋아하시나요? 저는 초콜릿을 진짜 좋아하는데 초콜릿에 올려인 카카오 있잖아요. 멕시코에도 그 카카오 원산지가 있는데 그게 타바스코주에 있어요. 비자 에르모사에 멕시코 카카오에 대한 가이드를 해주는 곳이 있다고 해서 지금 가고 있습니다.
The tourists are in this place, and here we have this giant wall made out of these little like vessels. These are called jicaras, and these were brought from a municipality that we have here in the state of Tabasco called Jalpan-Mendez. So these ones are made with this fruit. This is a jicara fruit. Usually don't eat this fruit, but actually we usually just use it for this. It can be eaten, but it doesn't taste very good. The process of making these jicaras is by, like, you cut an incision on the top part, you remove the top part, you also remove the fruit, and then you put it on fire. It turns this color. And so the purpose of that is not only to making like this, but also to like make them more resistant. And so this wall tries to imitate a wall that is on Chichen Itza. That one is made out of skulls. They are the carved stone. And the Mayans had some sort of saying. They used to drink the blood of their enemies on their skulls. Oh. But they weren't really talking about literal skulls, literal blood. They were referring to using these things as vessels. And they were drinking a reddish beverage. That's what they were referring to when they mentioned that. And that's why they had these walls with carved skulls, and that's what the meaning of these walls is. And here we have little fragments of a poet from this place called Carlos Pellicer Cámara, and it's from Romance de Tilantongo. And this author talks a lot about Tabasco, this place, and all of the things that he lived here. And let me translate it for you. I, who comes from Tabasco, with Mayan blood nuts, where ground cocoa gave new sense to water. So it's referring to a beverage that's typical from here called pozol, which is made out of ground cacao beans and also ground corn. Talking a little bit about the cacao. So the scientific name is Theobroma cacao, and it means food of the gods. This tree usually sizes up to like 4 to 8 meters long on the height, but in the wilderness you can find them up to 20 meters long, so it can be a very tall tree, but it is preferred to be kept at less height because it searches for shadow in order to produce their pods. So out of this tree comes these berries that are usually called referra pods or mazorcas in Spanish. And inside of these pods, there's little seeds that are covered in white pulp, and this white pulp is called the silage. We have a map of the cacao, the production back in the pre-Hispanic era. So here we have this map of Mesoamerica. Here we can see the Tabasco, where we are right now, was already a place where there was like the main production of cacao. But there's also some other places here with Chiapas, Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras, and it goes all the way down here, Costa Rica, etc. In this part, we're going to talk about the harvesting process of cacao. So this process has like a lot of like religious tone to it. This was considered very sacred in that era. And this was a process in which everyone in the family was involved, from the youngest kids to the oldest people. So it starts with cutting the pod. So for this, they use this little tool that we have here. With this motion, like this twist, they would cut the pod and it would fall through the ground. And so next comes the breaking the pod. So this was done in 2 different ways. The first one was by breaking them by hitting them against each other, and they would break. And the other one is using a stone to hit the pot. After that, you take these little seeds with the mucilage, and then you put them in a little like basket, and they would wash the cacao beans. And this is the process came this little water that nowadays people consume because this is like a very sweet pulp. So you can consume it, it's very delicious. The next step then is sun drying, and they would leave these seeds that were partially retired, like the mucilage, put it on the sun, and they would leave it for like 5 to 10 days to the sun. And after that comes the toasting the beans. And so this was done in a tool called comal. You put the beans, the sun-dried beans, and you start cooking them. The particular thing about this one is that when they break, like the shell breaks, it makes like popcorn sound, like when the popcorn pop. It's the sound. And next comes the grinding process. So after these things are toasted, you put them in a ground in a mill. Back then it used to be in this artifact called metate, and they would put the seeds in here, and they would put like a grinding machine, and then you would get this paste, and this paste combined with water became a beverage that everybody could enjoy, but this was not chocolate yet. Around the world, there are around 10 to 12 different species of pods, but in particular here in Tabasco, people cultivate 3 different ones. So this one is from here, like it comes from here, and this is recognized by very fine, like high quality, and this is usually used for like luxurious gourmet chocolates. This one is more likely to contract that illness, that monoriasis illness, but these seeds are, you can see here, they can have from 30 to 40 seeds, but these are very small in size. So that's why they're not used for big productions. And then we have this forastero. This one is called like that because it comes from Brazil, from the Amazonas. And this is usually used for like bigger factories production of chocolate. This one has less seeds, from 20 to 30 seeds, but the seeds are bigger and they have more paste in them. And also the taste isn't as good as the other one. These are used for the companies, I would say like Nestle, because they just use very small quantity of cacao in their chocolate. So for instance, there's one called here, Carlos Quinto. This one has from 8% of cacao paste in it. For it to be considered chocolate, you need to have at least 50 to 51% of chocolate, like cacao paste. So they don't have that much amount of paste. That's what these are used, these are preferred, because it's cheaper. And these are also more resistant to that illness. And so here we have this other one. which is called Trinitario Híbrido. This one comes from Trinidad and Tobago. This is also like a hybrid of these two, so these are better taste in comparison to this one, but it's also more resistant to this illness in comparison to that one. So this one is the one that is mostly used, at least here. Chocolate makers use this type of pod, hybrid one. And you can see here we have little bottles of them, and you can see here the size of the Torino one is like really big, so that's what this is preferred because the seeds are really big. And here we have like a little map of different beverages made with cacao. So here we have, most of these are from the southern part of Mexico. We have the bupu, and then we have popo.
It's funny because for us it sounds like poop.
We also have chilate, and this one is pozol or chorote. And here we have the chocolate. So here we have timeline of events of the cacao. It was also used as currency, and the importance was such that people could use these beans to buy slaves. So you could buy a slave if you gave the other person around 4 bags full of these beans. On the 1819, the first consumable chocolate was created in Switzerland. So it came not only in just beverage, also a consumable, like you could eat it as well.
If you want to try this, we told you it's a bit sweet.
This one?
Yes. What are you want?
Eat it, yeah?
Don't.
Don't swallow it. Don't swallow it. Just taste it in your mouth.
It's sour, isn't it? It's
It is.
Yeah.
Sour and sweet. I think it's very interesting.
thank you.
Check tasting. We have different
Percentage of cacao paste.
Here we have the 9% chocolate, and it's
This
poured
bitter
without any sugar nor milk.
This is bitter.
It's bitter.
Huh?
It's this one, in fact. 90%. Most people don't like it because it's too sour, bitter. But it's the healthier one. It has a lot of benefits. We have help for cardiovascular issues, like it helps with stress levels, it helps you being alert, it helps with your concentration. When you drink coffee that you feel alert and you feel awake, it's like the same, but this is like a prolonged effect, and it's because of this molecule over here. It's similar to the caffeine one, so you have similar effects. And along with this one, that it's phenylethylamine, this one helps to bring in your brain like serotonin and dopamine, and it's because of that that you feel alert, you feel wellness, happiness, pleasure. And this one is 70% cacao. It's less
bitter.
sour, less bitter because it has sugar, but it doesn't have milk.
Sweet.
It's sweeter than this one. It has benefits as well, but it's like a bit less than the 90%. And last, we have this one that it's 50%, and it's like sweeter and doesn't have that much benefits like these other ones. This is the preference of most people because it's not that sour, but you can taste the difference between a Hershey's or Carlos Quinto chocolate because it has more cacao in it. And we also have this 100% if you want to try. No sugar, no milk, no
spices.
nothing, just cacao. It's bitter, this one.
Wow. Oh.
It's like the most healthier, but because of its taste, it's not like a choice for most people. You can see the process that we've been talking to you.
This is 360, so there's you can see all the screen. You can move around, or you can see it however you want.
Bienvenido a la sala inmersiva, Tabasco, una de la civilización olmeca maya del cacao y el chocolate. Teobroma cacao es el nombre científico de la planta, pero su denominación natural es cacao, el grano de los dioses, del que emana una gran cantidad de riqueza que desde nuestras civilizaciones originarias ha representado parte de nuestra identidad regional. Los productores han contribuido en su preservación y grandeza. Mediante su proceso de secado, tostado y molido, para viento o frío, como el chorote, para hacerlo un verdadero elixir de los días. Nuestro cacao y chocolate, productos de Tabasco para el mundo.
Here's the chocolate that we told you about. Here we have 75-80%. This we also have semi-bitter. Actually very good.
Okay. I will take those two.
Okay.
Yeah.
We are college students. College that made this project is the one that we are belong to.
We're like giving our social service here.
So like we do internship basically.
Yes.
멕시코에서 나오는 카카오에 대해서 잘 알 수 있었던 기회였던 것 같아요. 초콜릿이랑 카카오니 몸에 좋은 걸로 구매를 했고, 안쪽에는 카페테리아도 운영한다고 하니까 카카오 음료 먹어보고 싶은 사람들은 보면 좋을 것 같아요.